Start. So hello everyone, good morning to everyone. How are you all and how's your preparation is going on? So in this session we'll discuss another topic, another new topic, and which is very much important for your examination point of view. And if you are preparing for any examination, any one day examination, or it is SSC, so definitely it will be very much helpful for you all. And try to watch all that classes also that we have done previously. So in this session we'll discuss about the production function. So let me confirm if I am audible and visible to everyone. Is there any issue are you facing? Just let me know so that I can correct it. Okay, how are you all? So first of all, just share this session to everybody who is preparing for the SSC examination or any other examination, because economics is a very much important part of GS, which is majorly asked in your every examination of if you are preparing any government exams. So I'm not just preparing you all just only for SSC. If you are preparing for any other state PSS exam also, so it is very much beneficial for them. Okay, so let me confirm if I'm audible and visible to everyone, and just share this session to everyone. I also just share this session to on my Telegram channel so that you can update it. So join this session fast. Okay, so first of all you need to understand that we have discussed about the consumer's behavior. In this session you need to play a role as a producer. Am I clear what I'm saying? In this session, whenever we discuss about the production function or anything related with the producer or related to the production inputs factors, so every time if I am discussing these topics, so every time you need to play as a role of producer, right? And consumer behavior, in consumption function, or you can say consumer behavior, you need to play a role as a consumer. So what do you just mean this word, this production function? What do you mean this production function? So first of all you need to understand what is production. What is production? So if I just tell you what is production. Okay, if I just tell you what is production, so what you define, sir? Anything, if you are converting anything to make final goods, converting of raw material to final good is known as production. What you will see, converting of, or you can say conversion of raw material, conversion of raw materials to final goods. Final goods, this is what called production. This is what called production. And if you want to convert raw material into final goods, then you need to have do some work, you have to do some function, then it is only possible to convert raw material into the final goods, right? Let's say if you want to produce a marker, if you want to produce a marker, and in marker, as you all know, require some raw materials, require labor, machine, many extra things that you need to require to produce a marker. So this is what this is the process that you want to do. It means you want to produce a marker. So if you really want to produce a marker, then you need to do some function, then only it is possible to produce a marker, right? So what function you need to do? You have to hire labor, you have to put some inputs to produce. So if you are doing these functions, then only it is possible to produce a marker, right? So the function which is involved in production is known as production function, or you can say the inputs, all that inputs are involved in the production for final goods or output, that all the relation between input and output is known as production function. Have you got my point what I just told you? Have you got my point, what I just told you or not? So the relationship between whatever the inputs you apply, the output you will get. How much the sugar you will apply in a for the making of sweet, that will make that much of sweet. If you will add less sugar, then it will be less sweeter. If you will add more sugar to making of sweets, so definitely you will have a more sweetest sweet. So it means definitely you need to understand whatever the inputs you are applying for the production of any goods and services, so that output you will get. If you want to you want to produce 1000 piece of marker, so you need to have like that much of plastic also, that much of labor also according to the production. So it's totally depends, it's totally depends that how much units you want to produce, because it's totally depends on the inputs. If your input is more, so production will also be more, right? So whatever the relationship between input and output is known as production function. And now you need to understand what are those inputs, what are these inputs. Sir, which type of inputs you are talking about? Actually, I am talking about, you need to understand that what the factors which affects the production, which helps the which helps in the process of production. So as you all know, raw material required for the production, it is a very major thing. If capital, if you do not have a capital, then how much how you are able to buy that such things, to buy such things of like raw material, labor or any things. So capital is must for the production of any goods and services. After the capital, you need to have a raw material. Now you have a capital, you have a raw material, but if there is not a labor, then how who will be the person to produce this marker? You will say, sir, machine is there na. If there is machine, sir, we don't know require any labor. You are wrong. If there is a machine, there must be a one person to start that machine na. So it means you required at least one labor. So you cannot ignore the workforce or labor force, so you have to hire labor also. So it means this is also a major role, play a major role in a process of production. It means what? Yeah, what I just told you, capital, labor, raw material. Now tell me one thing more. If you do not have any idea that how to produce, what we need to produce, how much we need to produce, what should be the price of this product, so is this any possibility that you will find that profit margin area, what type of production we need to do? You will never find. So you need to have some ideology, some idealistic things also, idealistic persons also. You need to have some entrepreneurs, because these entrepreneurs will provide you the idea that which type of business you need to do, which type of things you need to do, what type of production you need to do, how you can do, which technology you need to apply. So these all the things, that all the ideas you are getting from that particular person, this is what called entrepreneur. Entrepreneur definitely they will provide the ideas, right? So definitely there must be a entrepreneur, then only it is possible to do these all things, right? If the capital is brought by some person, capital is brought by anyone, so who the person is anyone, that is entrepreneur, right? So you need to have a particular person, you need to have a particular entrepreneur to do these all things. So we can conclude that all the things, that definitely we require these inputs to produce these goods and services. So if you want to produce anything, you need to have some inputs, you need to do some function, then only you will get output. How much the input you are applying, that type of output you will get, right? So there is a functional relationship, whatever the function you are doing, you will get the output, right? So first of all, you need to understand whatever the functional relationship between input and output is known as what? Production function. Now, so you can write, you can see that you can see this, what the term production refers to process of converting input into output. Whatever the input you are including, just to function on that inputs and convert that inputs, right? Now the first major thing, that is land. The first major thing is land. You have a raw material, you have a entrepreneur, you have a capital, you have a labor, but these all things you must have, definitely require it. But where you will put all these things, where you need to put all these things? In air, in atmosphere? No, you need to have some particular area. That area is known as what? Land. If you do not have a land, then where you should, where you will produce these items, where you will convert these items into the final product? So you need to require some area, require some land, so that only possible to include these all things that I have just told you, inputs, right? So you must have land also, you must have labor, you must have capital and entrepreneur, then only the process of these inputs, only the output is possible. So these all the relation is done into the production function, the relation between input and output. So output refer to the volume of goods and services. Output, you know what do you mean by this output? So whatever the amount you are producing, if you are producing 10,000 units of marker, these 10,000 units is known as output. Whatever the amount you are producing, this amount is known as output. Have you got my point or not? The amount of goods and services you are producing, this is what called output. Hope so. Am I clear to everyone? Is there any issue facing by you? Just tell me. If you are facing any issue, just tell me. So input, whatever the things, whatever the any requirements, anything you are applying for the production of goods and services, these all the things are called input. Factors are called inputs. That all the process of conversion, after the process of conversion, whatever the units you are getting, whatever the final product you are getting, that final product is known as output. Whatever the amount that you have produced, this is what called output, right? So if you want to produce a bread, you need to have a flour means what? The next process of wheat, right? So this is what called production function. Am I clear? Or any issue you are facing? Now in inputs, what you need to require, as I just told you, in inputs you require, you require land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. Without these inputs, nothing is possible for the production. Nothing is possible. If you want to produce anything, you need to have land, you need to have capital, you need to have entrepreneur, and by doing these all things, you need to have a labor also. Then it is only to produce anything, any goods and services. Now what is work in progress? What is work in progress? You need to understand that is what is the meaning of work in progress. That is, this is input. Let's say this is inputs and this is output. This is output. Now let's say wheat, or you can say flour. Let's say this is wheat and flour has with the bakery, baker shop. So this bakery shop will apply these inputs to make bread. So whatever the output you are getting, this is what? Bread. whatever the output you are getting, this is bread. So the process involved in the production of or using of inputs for making of output, whatever the process you are using, of input for the production of output, this process is known as what? Work in progress. It means we can say in work in progress, there is no line crossed of production. Production line has not been crossed in work in progress. After the work in progress, you have a proper final good or output. So the process are involving in the production of inputs to the goods and services, or you can say output. This is what called work in progress. Am I clear or not? Just tell me. Now, what are these factors? As I have already told you, these factors means what? Whatever the things are using for the production of goods and services, these all are called the factors of production. If I am using the raw material for the production of marker, so raw material is a factor. Anything is helping in the production process or helping in the production of goods and services, there's all the things are known as factors. Labor helps for the production of goods and services. Entrepreneur helps for the production of goods and services. So it means they are the major factors. Without these factors, production is not possible. That is why these are the major factors of production. Land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. Right? So first of all, land. What is land? The place where the factory want to produce that goods. If you want, where I want to produce this marker, there is some place na. So where the production, or you can say production unit, or you can say plant, I want to place. So where the plant, or you can say production unit, I want to place, that place is known as what? That is land. So this is what the place where the production units are set up. This is what land. What is labor? No number of workers employed to produce the products. So whatever the number of number of worker you are applying for the production of this marker. Why I am using repeatedly this word marker? Because this is in my hand, and I think this must be a best example to understand this whole concept. Either we are studying the consumer behavior, or either we are studying the producer behavior. We need to understand the both things, right? So what labor means? What? The number of employees you are applying for the production of goods and services. If you are applying 4 units of labor, 5 units of labor, 5 number of labor, so these all are the labors. Now next one is capital. So the amount of material and equipment used in the production. That amount here, we are talking about the cost. So you need to pay some amount to the labor, you need to hire, purchase some machinery, some equipment to produce the goods and services. Without machinery, it is not possible. If it is possible, then the time will take more. If you will totally dependent on the labor, so what will happen? If you will totally depend on the labor, it means he will do the work. Definitely he will do the work, but the time will be taken by the labor will be more, and production will be less. So if you want to produce more in a lesser time, so you need to hire some machine, you need to purchase some modern technologies of machine. So if you want to purchase that machine, you have to invest that particular amount, you have to purchase, so you need to have some capital. So whatever the equipment you are using for the production of goods and services, these all are required of funds. That fund is known as capital. Are you getting? Now entrepreneur means what? The person who give the idea to run the business. He will give the ideas that how to run the business. If you want to run a business, what ideas you need to have, what ideas that you need to apply. Some person must be there that who will provide, who will give you the idea that what you need to do, what you need not to do. So that idea is given by some person. That person is known as what? Entrepreneur. Just tell me, am I clear? If I am clear to you all, tell me, is there any issue are you facing? So anything, any idea given by that person is known as entrepreneur. Hope so I am clear to everyone, right? Clear to everybody, or having some doubt? Now, so these are the factors. Now you need to understand the dependent variable. Now first of all, these are some dependent, these variables are called basically known as dependent variable. Why we are using this dependent variable? Yes. Tell me. So tell me, देखो, what happens actually? There is two things. There's two things that you need to understand. First one is dependent variable and another one is independent variable. First one is dependent variable. Dependent variable, and the second one is independent variable. Now you need to understand what is dependent variable and what is independent variable. Friends, like if you are using 100 kg of plastic, 100 kg of plastic for the production of 100 kg of plastic for the production of 1000 units of marker, 1000 units of marker. So I ask to you, if you want to produce 1000 units of marker, then you must to have 100 kg of plastic, right? You must to have a 10 labor, you must to have a 10 labor, right? You must to have a one machine, right? One machine. So if I ask to you which is dependent part, so you will see, you will answer, sir, this is a 1000 units of labor, it 1000 units of marker. Sir, it means what? This 1000, if you want to produce 1000 units, if you want to produce 1000 units, then you have to dependent on 100 kg of plastic, you have to depend on 100 10 labor, you have to depend on one machinery, then only it is possible to produce 1000 units. It means we can say whatever the output you want to have, whatever the output you want to have, that if you want to produce output, then you need to depend on some variables, if you want to produce more output. If you want to produce, let's say if you want to produce 200 more, let's say 1200 units of marker, then you have to increase the plastic, you increase the quantity of plastic, you need to increase the amount of labor. If you want to produce less of marker, sir, you have to decrease the amount quantity of plastic. So here you can understand some of the things which is totally dependent on another. If you want to produce any output, you have to depend on these items, these variables. So output is totally, we can conclude one thing here from this concept. So output is what? Dependent variable. We can understand that what output is what? Dependent variable. This is what? Totally dependent variable. And this is independent variable. Input is what? Whatever the input we are using. Input is what? Independent variable. We can say or not? So now we can conclude one thing. We have just understood one concept, that dependent variable means what? Dependent variable are the output. Dependent variable are the output, and independent variable are the independent variable are input. Independent variable are the inputs. So if you want to have more of output, you have to apply more of input. If you want to have a less of output, you need to apply less of input. So its outputs totally depend on the inputs. So we can conclude these item. Am I clear or not? So that the thing you need to understand. So that is why here is writing dependent variable output is a positive function. Output is a positive function of the independent variable. Output is a positive function of independent variable. It means what? Whatever the input you will apply, the positive amount you will get. Input is less. What do you mean by this positive? Let's say this is input, this is output. Input you will increase, output increase. Input you will decrease, output will decrease. So there is a positive relation you are getting, positive function. If you just want to have a what is this relation between these inputs and outputs, you will say, so there is a positive relation. One is going, if one is increasing, another is also increasing. One is going downward, another is also going downward. So there is a positive relation. This is what the positive relation, positive function. This is what called positive relation. If the both the things are doing the same thing, it means what? This is what called positive relation, or you can say positive function you are doing. Am I clear or not? Now mathematically you can say that production function, this is the functional that I just told you, whatever the things, this is what called production function. If you are producing any x good, then you have to have a some amount of land, some amount of labor, some amount of capital, some amount of management, and some amount of technology. Then it is only to produce this any quantity. So that the thing you need to understand what I just want to tell you, right? Am I clear? So this is what called inputs. Now the types of production. Types here we are not just discussing the types of production. Here we want to discuss that types of production in terms of time. Sometime we produce goods for short time, and some production units produce goods for long term, or you can say the production units are set up for the long term. Clear? So let's say if any person is doing any production unit, or you can say producing any goods and services for the less than 1 year. If any person is producing goods and services for the less than 1 year, or you can say only the variables are changing, only the variable factors are changing, not the fixed factor. If any production unit is doing a business which is less than 1 year, or you can say if there is only the variable factor is changing, not the fixed factor, that production unit is known as for short period of time, for the short period of time. Am I clear or not? Or long run, it means what? Varying all the inputs. Varying all the inputs means was what? There must be change in fixed factor also or variable factor also. In short run, only variable factors are changing. In long run, both the factors are changing. Short term or variable factor or fixed factor, both the things. Sir, what you are saying variable factor, fixed factor, you didn't tell me yet. What is the meaning of variable factor and fixed factor? These are some factor. Factor means what? Our input, whatever the inputs you are applying for the production of goods and services. Whatever the inputs you are applying for the production of goods and services, these all are called inputs of factors or variable factors or fixed factors. Let's say, try to understand with an example. Let's say if you want to produce this marker, you must have a labor and also you must have a machine. If you want to produce more of marker, just I am asking to you, answer me. If you want to produce more marker, what you will increase? You will increase labor or you will increase machine? Definitely you will increase the labor. Every time you will not purchase more of machinery. If you want to increase, let's say you are producing 100 units and you want to increase from 100 to 120 units. So if you want to increase 20 units of more output, so you will purchase another machinery for the production of this, for the production of additional unit of marker? No, you will hire some extra labor. If you want to produce less of this marker, you will fire some labor. You will not uninstall the machine, you will not remove the machine. So it means what? You need to understand one thing. If you want to produce extra some output, you will change only some factor, not all the factor. All the factors means what? Machine is also factor, labor is also factor. You will not change all the factors. If you want to change only one factor, that if you're changing only one factor, that factor is known as variable factor. Variable means what? Vary means what? Change. So there is a change in a particular one factor. So whenever there is a change in the particular one factor, this change in factor is known as variable factor. So labor is a variable factor, but which factor is not changing? That is machine. Machine is also part of factor, but it is not changing. So this is what called fixed factor. This is what called fixed factor. So inputs are divided into the two factors, the variable factor and the fixed factor. So in short run, only the variable factors are changing, not the fixed factor. But in long run, both the factors are changing, both fixed factor also the variable factor, because you maybe shift your production unit or plant to another location. You can expand your business. So many of the possibilities is possible. Am I clear or not? Tell me. Tell me. So it means what? In short run, inputs kept constant. Inputs kept constant. Inputs kept constant means what? Only one input changes. Means what? Labor is varied. Labor, raw material, these are all the things varied. So whenever there is only changes in variable factor, that situation or that type of business, that type of term is known as short run business. Right? Koi issue? Is there any issue? Now this process, what the process you are doing, this is what called law of variable proportion, that I will explain further in further topic, which is very most important topic. This is what is the law of variable proportion. And the second one is what? Long run, where both inputs where both the things are changes, where both the things are changes. Here fixed factor as well as variable factor, both the factors changes. This is what called long run type of business. Am I clear or not? So this process comes into the law of returns to a scale. Law of returns to a scale. We say na, small scale, large scale, medium scale, right? Positive, we or you have listened this returns to a scale, negative returns to a scale, constant returns to a scale, diminishing returns to a scale. We use these terms. So this is what law of returns to a scale. And the another one is known as what? Law of variable proportion. Law of variable proportion. It means what? The proportion of variable factors you are applying in the fixed with the fixed factor. This term itself indicating don't need to just confuse, you don't need to just harassed with this word, don't need to get afraid of this concept. Law, what is law of variable proportion? Nothing, just break these all words. The proportion, the 2 labor, the 3 labor, the 4 labor, the proportion you are applying. There is only one machinery. Let's say this is one machinery, and in one machinery there is 4 worker is working, 4 worker is using. Now you want to produce more. Now the 5 worker is you have just added 1 labor with the machine. Now the 5 worker is doing using this machine. Again you have added 2 labor. Now the 7 worker is using this machine. So machine is fixed, machine is fixed at your place. Only the something is changing, that is labor. Only the labor is changing, only the labor is changing. So whatever the input is changing, this is what called variable factor. And changing with what? Fixed factor. They are fixing with the fixed factor, right? So in one single input is constant and another input is changing. So the input is changing, this is what called variable factor. So the proportion of labor, the proportion of variable factor you are, the proportion of variable factor you are applying with the fixed factor, this is what called law of variable proportion. And definitely you will get some outputs. At initial level you will have increasing output, you will get a more and more output, and then after some time you will get more output, but comparatively before, now you will get lesser, and then still you will produce more and more, still you will increase the amount of labor for the production of goods and services, then you will get definitely more output, but comparatively before you will get less output. So this is what complete are called, what called law of variable proportion. We'll definitely understand, we'll need to try to understand in some further classes, further topics. Now law of returns to a scale. You will get some return, negative return, positive return, increasing return. So whenever you will get more and more units of output with using of less labor, you are using the less labor. At initial level you are getting more and more units of output. So that is what increasing return, you are getting lots of output. So this is what called increasing return. Then you will get the decreasing return. Then you will have a constant return. Constant return means what? You are applying the labor, you are using the quantity, but still you are getting the same amount of unit, same quantity of unit. This is what called constant return. You are applying the labor, you are using the more and more labor, but you are not getting the output. Your output is going to be less, your output is going to negative. Previously you are producing 100 units, now you are using more labor, but still you are producing only 80 units. So output has been decreased from 100 to 80. You have decreased 20 units after the using of more labor. How it is possible? Sir, I am using the lot of labor, and still I am getting, is there any possibility that I will get less output? Yes, this is possible. You have listened in class 10th, you have studied, or you can say you have studied about the disguised employment, disguised unemployment. When there is a particular area or any for project or any work, if there is more of employees are applied, more of employees are executed, where the requirement for this product is not that much of worker, but still they are doing. So that is what, this is what disguised unemployment. So you need to understand these concepts. There are types. The first one is short run and the second one is long run. In short run you have the changes, definitely you will have the change of output, but due to change in only one factor, that is variable factor or only a single input. In long run you will have to change both the things, both the inputs, fixed factor or variable factor, both the inputs, both the factors, right? So this is all about today's class that we have discussed, right? Any issue, any doubt, if you are facing, just tell me. And then what, this is what actually variable factor, this and fixed factor, I have just told you. Building, you will not change the you will not change building, land, machine, at every level of output you will not change. If you want to increase the level of output, if you want to decrease the level of output, then you have to change only the variable factors, right? Like in festivals you have to, like in festivals like Diwali, if there is a Diwali festival, then you have to increase the raw material for milk, you can say khoa and other things which is required for the production of sweets. So you will not you will not take a extra building for the production of, you will increase the amount of labor, you will increase the amount of raw material. Okay, so this is all about the today's class, that is what fixed factor or the variable factor. Will meet in another class. Thank you so much you all, hope so you have enjoyed this session, and I have just delivered all the concepts, all the informations in easy to easy manner to you all. We'll meet you in the next class, and don't forget to subscribe our channel if you are new on this channel, and don't forget to comment that how much you have enjoyed this session. And next thing, Abhishek Sir Official is my Telegram channel. Abhishek Sir Official, Abhishek Sir Official is my Telegram channel. You can join this Telegram channel so that you will get all the PDF notes, and as well as all the current affairs related if you are preparing any SSC examination, either you are preparing for CGL, CPO, GD, MTS, CHSL, or any banking or insurance exam. So the current affair for these examinations also be shared with you all, right? So thank you so much you all. We'll meet you in the next class. Hope you have enjoyed this session. Goodbye, take care, Jai Hind.